Bases dropped on Tuesday thoughts here on SDH AM. Hang on just a second. Yeah, because this was all over the place, but even before I put the headset on this morning. Hi, John here, you there. Here's what's going on this morning. KCD, where you be? We'll get that answered coming up in about 10 minutes. We'll find out where Kacey White has been over the last couple of days, last week, really. And so we get to catch up with her on the NWSL. We get to catch up with her on the ACC and anything else going on in her brain. As always, she's back in the leadoff spot here on Tuesday. She got to work with our friend Glenn Davis for Duke and Carolina. So we'll find out the information that she has there coming up in just a little bit. Also, we got to go over World Cup qualifying and Gambia wasting no time against the Seychelles. Third minute, they're already on the board 1-0. We'll go over everything from yesterday, including the qualification of Cape Verde. And we have, thanks to our friends at OTS Media, you might have heard a little bit of it last night. It was Pico Lopez. It looked like he was under the stadium getting ready to leave to head to the airport to make sure that he was back in Portugal for the birth of his first child with to the addition of his family. So we have an interview with Pico Lopez from Cape Verde after they won and getting ready for the trip to Portugal to come back here so he can go back to Shamrock Rovers and he'll be a dad. So we've got that interview yesterday from the Cape Verde qualification. We'll go through all the numbers and what happened, where we are, what to look at today. There's the one match in AFCON qualifying that is going on right now. Most of them are at noon or later on today. We'll go over that schedule as well. A couple of other things that we have plotted for your morning. We have coming up in hour number 2. Our buddy Jason Stevens is going to be later this week because he has some things. He has some commitments that he has involving English football, but we got to catch up with Anthony Zuzut. So he is in charge of formations football, and they are Europe's. They have an online hub training over 5,000 scouts, analysts, and coaches. They have now launched the American version of that, SoccerEDU, down in Florida. So in the 10:30 slot, it'll be Anthony Zuzut, and we find out more about SoccerEDU, and that'll be in hour number 2. So we get to go over a bunch of different things, the differences with education, technology, differences in European approach for scouting versus the U.S. approach for scouting, how you blend the two, and how you get to use what you acquire at formations football and or SoccerEDU to help you out when it comes to chasing after a gig as a scout, an analyst, video analyst, coach, what have you. So we catch up with Anthony coming up in hour number 2 in the 10:30 slot because Jason Stevens, once again, he'll be with us later in the week. We're taping him on Wednesday, and so he'll be a part of Thursday long, basically. Also, Thursday long, we get to we'll catch up Thursday after the show is over. Prague Raptors, they are now a part of the NOFO family. We're going to catch up with them and find out what it's like to be a part of that grouping. And so we'll get that there as well. So today, once again, it's KCD and Anthony Zuzut from SoccerEDU and Formations Football. That's the guest for today. But like I said, we'll go over all the qualifications and all the other news and things like with Pico Lopez, et cetera, from Cape Verde. That's going to be in the show today. Then, once again, tomorrow, it is Tyler Pilgrim. It is hopefully Dylan Butler, and it's catching up with Donovan Ricketts at Carolina Core. That's at 10:30 tomorrow. Thursday, looks like it's Chris Nugent dropping by at 9:30 briefly as Chattanooga gets ready for Huntsville City. Nino and Nico and Jason Stevens. And then Friday, like I said, we're trying to turn it into the Apple free-for-all and get as many voices from Apple TV's coverage of Major League Soccer, trying to get them all in for the Friday show and make sure that we can get the entire coverage of Decision Day. And we're not ending the Friday notes with our friends from Major League Soccer and Apple TV. It's just I wanted to try to bring in as many guests as possible and just literally turn it into a free-for-all for that entire show, getting you ready for Decision Day, not just with what we have with Atlanta United, but everybody else that has been here this season. We'll see how many of them are in airports. We'll see how many of them are in hotels. We'll see how many of them are at home. And we'll see how many of them can parachute in just to give a couple of minutes about their game, the season, senior superlatives, all that kind of stuff. So that's the rundown for what is going on here. Hey, whoa, Dr. D, hang on just a second. So if that really, okay, so hang on. Hang on. Brad has done that. Okay, thank you, Dr. D. Thank you, Dr. D. So this means that we've got to go here, obviously, and we've got to let everybody know about this. Brad Gazan's hanging them up. That came out on social media as of 5 minutes ago. On his social media, 21 years is a long time. I'm just a kid from Chicago who instantly knew this game was for me. Today, as I prepare to hang up my gloves, I know this journey was never just about me. Thank you to everyone. So Brad has posted a 1:20 farewell video or a thank you video, and that is now up. So yes, Ricky has posted the link, and it is Brad doing some saving and some goalie things, and he's embraced by his family. He's in the Atlanta United gear, and he's unwrapping the tape, taking the gloves off, and we mean that both literally and figuratively. He's there with his family, 4 kids and his wife, and they're off into the sunset. And it looks like it was produced at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground. But the family of 6, the battling Gazans, looks like Brad's hanging them up after 21 years of being in the business. So big news from Brad this morning. And so I would firmly anticipate that what we see on the weekend is going to be a goodbye of massive proportions where Brad is concerned. And so Brad's hanging them up. I don't think we can understate. I think that's the right word. I don't think we can overstate or understate. I don't think we can fully appreciate what Brad has meant to not just Atlanta United, but to Major League Soccer, to soccer in this footprint, to the growth of the game across all strata in all of the time that he has been a part of things as we have seen it. All right, so let's break down the numbers where young Bradley Edwin Gazan is concerned. Turned 41 back in September. Went to South Carolina, had 38 apps there. Senior career, Chicago Fire Premier, 64 with Chivas, 144 with Aston Villa, loaned to Hull City, had a season at Middlesbrough, then came to Atlanta United. 224 appearances for Atlanta United since 2017. Since, remember, Alec Can was the one who was getting the start while we were waiting for Brad to finish the season so he could come over from Middlesbrough. And so you have the 2-year deal, league debut, January 26th of 2017, confirmed that Brad had signed on a free and would return following the conclusion of the 16-17 Premier League season, 9 years in English football. Left Middlesbrough June 10, 2017. Remainder of the 2017 MLS season, he wore the number 1 shirt. Atlanta United debuted July 24, 2017, a road win against the Purple Team. 14 games in the 2017 season, 6-1-7, 8 clean sheets. Led MLS in save percentage at 79.2. MLS save of the week 3 times. 2018 won MLS Cup with Atlanta United with the win over Portland Timbers. International career made his debut February 19th, 2006 in a friendly 4-0 over Guatemala in Frisco. Played the first 80 minutes before being subbed for Zach Wells. Non-playing member of the side that won the Gold Cup in 2007. Called up for the 2007 Copa America. Played in the 1-0 loss for Colombia. Next cap on July 5th. World Cup qualifying debut against Barbados in 2008. Was a part of the roster in the 2010 World Cup. American side, part of the 2017 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Played the first 2 matches before Bill Hamid took his place. Then he and Sean Johnson were replaced by Howard and Jesse Gonzalez. Unused one, then won again in 2021. So, real quick, with Atlanta United once again, 224 appearances with Atlanta United, 473 total. Brad Gazan hanging him up. National Cup appearances 4. So Brad Gazan hanging him up after 21 years in the biz. And like I said, I don't think we can say enough about Brad and what he has meant to American soccer. Since it is at 9:16, I have dawdled. I'm a minute late. I'm a minute late in bringing in KCD. So KCD is back. KCD, where you be?
Oh, I'm back at home, but you don't have to apologize. You're talking about Brad Guzan, so we can give him some extra time. Don't you worry.
All right. So Brad announced on social media, it was about a minute 20, nicely produced video that the family of 6 is heading into the sunset. When I mentioned Brad to you as someone who has been in circles, in various circles, including national team circles, when I mentioned Brad Gazan, what comes to mind for you?
When you mention him to me, it's just synonymous with success at the international level, the domestic level, and the reputation that he has just as a human being, as a teammate, as a competitor. All those things kind of come to mind. So it's going to be really strange to not see him playing because it's been so many years. I think you said 21 as I came on here. Like, I didn't even realize that it had been actually that long with the impact that he's had.
Yep, and for someone who has been as integral in the growth of Atlanta United as a franchise from absolute beginning, short of when, like I said, he had been signed, but Middlesbrough's like, no, you can't have him until the season's over in 2017. Then you can jump in. He jumps in the summer of 2017. Alec Can had originally started for Atlanta United up until that point, but I don't think you can understate. I think that's the right way to phrase it. I don't think you can emphasize enough what Brad has meant to the growth of the sport in the Southeast through Atlanta United and with Major League Soccer and Atlanta United winning titles and those kinds of things. I don't think that can be emphasized enough about what he means and what he will have meant to the growth of the sport here in the Southeast.
100%. And when you have a player like that with the type of success he has, but the leadership qualities he has, the consistency, all of that, people know what to watch for. People buy in, and those kind of players are really important to growth of the game for sure.
All right, so we bring you in to discuss everything going on in the NWSL, the ACC, and I mentioned that your weekend in the ACC. I have to ask, where's Ramses? Where's
Look, I went to go get Ramesses this morning, and all my Carolina mugs are dirty and curly in the dishwasher. So I had to go with my hometown mug, my Texas mug.
Got it.
But not because of the loss. It's not because, believe me, I was like, where's my mug? I should clean it real quick. And I'm like, you know what? It's not meant to be. We'll bring it back out next week, maybe. So
okay, I just I have to ask where the mug is in these situations. I have to.
got my UNC alumni stuff back here. We still got some UNC pride going on.
Yeah. So you got to work with our friend Glenn Davis, and you got to call another massive match in the ACC. For someone who doesn't drift into the ACC on the soccer side of things, we know what it means in basketball. What is Duke Carolina in soccer for someone who hasn't seen it?
Well, I would assume it feels the same way as it would to a basketball player that it does to a soccer player. Maybe the crowds aren't as big. Maybe it doesn't go as national as some of the bigger sports, especially men's basketball on their side. But from a player standpoint, from a coach standpoint, from an alumni standpoint, it's the one you circle on the calendar all year. Excuse me.
You have to be hydrated. I understand.
I'm getting choked up. No, I'm kidding. I just have this little bit of a cough. But it means so much, and you circle it. And one of the things Glenn and I spoke about early on in the broadcast was the rivalry, the emotional management piece of it, to just take it as a game. But I said, you just can't do that. And when you are fighting in the ACC to work your way up the standings and your rivalry is standing in your way, you relish in the fact that you're going to make their path a little bit harder. And so I enjoyed that game.
All right. So what went down for those that didn't have a chance to see it?
So it's very interesting. 0-0 at halftime, end to end. I would say that Carolina had the majority of the play, but Duke had the better chances. But it really wasn't a lot going on in the first half. Even though end to end, there weren't many clear opportunities to score goals. But 4 minutes into second half, Duke came out, scored a goal. 4 minutes later, scored another goal. So got out to a 2-0 lead. I'll tell you what, though, these goals were unreal. If one of them doesn't make Sports Center, I will be shocked. Avery Oder, freshman, we had highlighted her in the open because Kat Rader was missing, who's a top player in the nation. She has a little bit of an injury. So I said, Avery Oder can step up. She scored an amazing goal. So it went 2-0. Then it went 3-0. It was tough being a Tar Heel on this call, but I had to give credit because 3 unbelievable goals from right at the penalty box or outside from long distance, unsavable shots. And almost went 4-0, weird offside call where the goalkeeper is advanced, so it's the defender that's actually the person. So it would have been 4. And then Carolina comes back, scores 2 goals in the last 3 to 4 minutes. The second goal was with 45 seconds to go, ended 3-2 Duke. So a little bit of a strange game, a Tar Heel loss, but entertaining nonetheless.
Yep. LeGarrette 48-37. Then 4 minutes later, you get your Avery Oder goal, her 5th of the season. Devin Lynch at 74-54, and then 2 goals in 34 seconds to make it 3-2. And I had this vision of you in the booth where literally at 3, if it's at 3-0, you and Glenn, you're just kind of cruising. You're sitting there going, okay, what's going on? And then it's 3-1. And then I imagine that there was probably a consistent noise that started in the booth where you're starting to hop up and down. Knowing you're probably sitting there and you're kind of getting, antsy and everything. And then the second goal scores after you're hopping up and down for 34 seconds and you're sitting there, and then the hopping, you're kind of sitting there and you're getting kind of like this and everything, and you're waiting. I just have this how far off am I on this vision of the nervous athlete energy looking at an alma mater? How off am I here?
You're not that far off. I will say that I've been preparing for this game for a couple weeks mentally, not researching. I know both teams very well, but mentally preparing that I'm a professional and I have to approach this game as a professional because I lean into the Duke-UNC rivalry. I'm not going to lie. But you're right. I was getting a little antsy at the end. The one thing that kind of quelled it a little bit, well, 2 things. The first goal went to a video review. So we couldn't even call the goal with like any excitement because it could have been taken away. So that kind of stopped the excitement. Then it's only 3-1. Then the second goal was an own goal by Duke. And then it was like with 40 seconds left. So it was very unlikely we were going to tie it up. If it had been a few minutes earlier, I think that bouncing up and down and nervous energy would have been at an all-time high for sure.
Yes, as we always anticipate this. All right, so let me ask this. In the college game, VAR is different than it is on the pro side of things. And there are, I believe, 8 different reviewables when it comes to the college game, but clear and obvious error is not one of them. It's like, you're looking at, goals scored and the check marks that are down the list. How long, let me ask, do you remember off the top of your head how long the review was on the goal that eventually stood?
Ooh, I honestly do not, because we are just tap dancing, keeping it going, talking about what it could be. I wouldn't think that one took more than a minute and a half. That one was pretty quick, but we had 3 video reviews in this game. We had one on the goal line that they thought Duke scored, but it wasn't even close. And they had a goal called back for the offside. That one took a while. The last one was probably one of the 2 quickest in that game.
Because there was a moment that we talked about yesterday, and it was, I think, one of the concerns I think that we have when it comes to the use of VAR is the idea of re-refereeing a play. Instead of looking at the play in and of itself and reinforcing the call or into a yes/no, you're getting into the idea of re-refereeing. And it was a match where center ref confident in the penalty, literally, I mean, out of the blocks, you see it, edge of the 18, player gets clipped, bang, penalty called. Then, for whatever reason, center ref is called to the tablet. And in this particular setting, you're exiting the field of play, you're going behind a door, going behind an opening, and you're looking at it. Then, however long it was looked at, then center ref comes back out and waves the penalty off. in the end, it didn't make any kind of an impact in the game itself, but it was the notion of, okay, I imagine that center ref in this case had the same camera angles that TV did, and you were re-refereeing something that was fairly confident and you completely and totally flipped it. It's just something that re-refereeing for me is a concern, that you have VAR overreach, and it's something that I think we need to kind of keep an eye on here when it comes to looking at the game in and of itself. How much overreach are you seeing when it comes to VAR? How much re-refereeing are you seeing? Are center refs fairly confident when it comes to review? Are things reinforced? I'm looking for your college VAR-ness here and your analysis looking at it and the state of the game these days.
Well, if I look at just yesterday,
Yeah.
I felt that 2 of the 3 were quite obvious on the field that didn't really need reinforcement, the first one and the third one. I could tell from the booth that it didn't look like the ball went over the line. And then I looked at one camera angle and I was like, it's not even close. And so to me, I said on the air though, that if we are going to have it, and it is such an important game, might as well use it, but let's make it quick.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a quick one. The use of the offside to disallow one of the Duke goals, I thought was really good because it's a rare rule that we have where the goalkeeper steps really aggressively and the player's beyond the goalkeeper, and then you've got to see if there's another player behind. So that offside rule, I think, is more nuanced and can be used. I just think it's about limiting the time. We're going to have the technology, let's get it right. Either let's not have the technology or let's have the technology, but limit how long it takes. We don't need to have minutes and minutes and minutes of discussion for every video review or VAR situation.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that the longer, and I got to see this in college football, and we talked about that yesterday too. Full disclosure, I was at the Auburn-Georgia game on Saturday, and
Nice.
well, but when you have a review process take basically 15 minutes,
Right.
and you go from the 2-minute timeout to halftime, and it takes you 36 minutes to play that 2 minutes because at least half of it almost is stuck in VAR hell, and that's what it was.
It's insane.
I'm concerned that it takes entirely too long in VAR situations, and that the more that you put on the clock, the more you're looking for something. And that's why I was getting into the idea of re-refereeing this stuff.
I think we're in the general sense now striving for perfection, but refereeing is human. And so we can't, I don't know if we can ever fully get to that. So it's about how do we continue to create a framework that helps the game, but doesn't necessarily hurt the game for players, for coaches, and for viewership and fans, to be quite honest.
Yeah. And so it's the more that you get away from, say, a minute and a half or 2 minutes, the more I think you're looking for something instead of trying to reinforce the call or do a quick flip on it. And so I've maintained that you've got to put a time limit on things, and then if it doesn't happen, then you can't find anything, and then you can't say anything about it. Call on the field stands, 2 minutes, you're done, and then you move on with your day.
I like that. I'm with you.
I'm just it bugs the ever-loving crap out of me sometimes when you're trying to re-referee something that shouldn't be that hard to sit there and analyze and look for. Okay, in the ACC right now, you're looking at the standings and just in the overall on the women's soccer side. And it's is there anything that sits there and is intriguing to you about how it currently looks? Because right now, Notre Dame's run the table in conference. They're 7-0, 12-0-1 in the overall. They've won 11 in a row, which is kind of a staggering number to just kind of, embrace a little bit here. Then they've got distance with Stanford, is at 16 points. You got a bunch of folks with 4 wins and 13, Virginia, FSU, and Louisville. Cal is at 12. Waken and NC State are at 11 points. Duke, Carolina are at 3-3 in conference. And then you go down from there, SMU, Clemson, Syracuse, Pitt, BC, Miami, and Virginia Tech. Those final 3 are still looking for their first wins of the year. Duke and Carolina at 3-3, middle of the pack, and Notre Dame's running away with things.
So the top 16 reveal came out. They started this last year of the top 16 potentials for the NCAA tournament, kind of a prediction. 4 were from the ACC. What was very intriguing was that Stanford was not in the top 16. They have 1 loss on the year, and they are in second just behind Notre Dame. And I pointed it out actually in the broadcast because I thought that was really strange because Virginia's included, Florida State's included, who are 3 and 4 in the ACC, and then Duke, who's the middle of the ACC with 3 losses. And you've still got Wake Forest, who's having a good year, Louisville, other teams. And so it was just very interesting to see that in the top 16 piece. Notre Dame's unbelievable. They 100% should be at the top, and I love watching them play. But the middle of the pack right now is something to really watch for. Like you said, Duke, UNC, who are normally regulars in the top 6 qualifying for the ACC tournament, are on the outside looking in. Duke made themselves in a better position with this 3 points against North Carolina. They're both within striking distance, but they have teams like Louisville, Cal, Wake Forest ahead of them that aren't normally the ones that are going to be ahead. So I think there's going to be a lot to shake up in this next week or so because there's 2 games for most teams, Thursday, Sunday this coming week.
How hard is it to do a Thursday, Sunday in college?
Oh, you're going to make me sound old because we used to do Friday, Sundays, and I'm going to say that. Coaches say it's hard. I'm going to go with that. I honestly think that it's time. You can sub a lot, so I think you have plenty of time to prepare for Sunday. Is Sunday different? Yes, of course. You're less rested. You might have to manage with your bench, but I personally don't see a big problem with Thursday, Sunday matchups and the distance between the games. You get a full day off of recovery, a second day of very minimal work. And so I think that it's plenty of time for college athletes, especially in the women's soccer game.
All right, Dell, our resident viewer down in Charleston, has a question for you. Do you think Clemson's women are going to qualify for the NCAAs?
I do not. I do not. And I hate to say that, but with their record, I mean, they're only at a 5-win season. And so you have to look at non-conference as well. I think it's going to be really hard for them. Based on the ACC and the reputation of the ACC, anyone that's around 9 or 10, I think could potentially qualify just because it's such a respected conference. And if a lot of those losses come in conference, then someone like Clemson could be considered. But the fact that they're so far down right now, I think they're in, I believe it's 12th. That is really on the outside looking in.
Yep. And so keep an eye on Clemson. They're going to have to make a run out of lane 8 if they're going to get it into the postseason. Let's shift to the NWSL, and you were busy there as well. A couple of things kind of on the field, off the field, and then off the field, back on the field. You end up with Simone Charley coming back after 11 months of rehab, rupturing an Achilles, and now she's finishing the season with Orlando. So she comes back onto the field, and that's a really cool thing for her. And then you end up with a retirement in Seattle where one of the OGs, Lauren Barnes, announces her retirement after her 250th regular season appearance. She's retiring at the end of the year. 2016 NWSL Defender of the Year, 2-time Shield winner, 3-time NWSL Championship runner-up, Seattle captain since 2022. And so Lou's hanging them up. Charlie's coming back in just in time for all of this stuff to work its way toward the end of the regular season.
Well, it's always nice to see a player come back in and play, especially when they've been out for so long. Any of us that have played at the highest level have dealt with injuries, and so you feel for players, but then their returns in a triumphant return, getting a goal as their team is doing better as well. That's always really nice to see. I think she'll be a player that just helps make that team a little bit deeper. And they need that right now. And so I think that will be really important for their roster. Lou Barnes is, like you said, an OG, and anyone you talk to about what she's done, it's really not about just the play on the field. And I know that sounds cliche and all of it, but it's really about her experience and just who she is off the field and who she is to her teammates. So especially this past year or two, Seattle Reign has been extremely young, and they've had kind of these OG, these veterans, and these really young players. There's not a lot in the middle. And so her experience has even been more vital through a tough season last year. Coming into this season, they're experiencing a lot of success. So I hope for the Seattle Reign, they do well, give her some opportunities to continue to play. She just got her 250th appearance, which I was on the call for that game. So that was really nice to see. She came in late in the game. They ended up getting a late equalizer. And so it was a good moment all around.
All right, we'll get into power rankings here, and the amount of ridiculousness that Kansas City continues to be putting on the board is it's okay. So let me see. I've got the list here, and let me see if I've missed anything. So you've got 20 wins, 2 more than the record set last year by both Orlando and Washington. 62 points with the win over Gotham, eclipses the record of 60 set by the Pride last year. 2 more games to play in the regular season, lead the table by 4,000 points over the second place team. Temwa Shawinga, she gets off the bench. She gets a double. So a league high 15 with her. So let's see. Clinched the Shield faster than any team in league history by percentage of games played. 21 games into the 26-game season. New record last month, going 870 minutes, 9 full matches without conceding a goal. Kansas City's now unbeaten in 17 straight league games. Lorena set an individual record on the weekend, 14th shutout of the season, surpassing the record of 13 set by, guess who, Orlando's Anna Morehouse last year. Vlatko's going to have him as the number 1 seed in the playoffs. And he comes in, and it's just everybody's sitting there looking at what Current is doing. It's insane. How good a season is this that the Current are piecing together? Are we even able to comprehend what in the wide world of sports is going on here?
No, we're not, because I look at the standings and I see the 6 in the first column. I've never seen anything like that with the NWSL. And so they're at 62 points. And I think about, just to put this in context with like the MLS, they play, I think it's 8 more games, and they're 9 games ahead right now. And their top teams have 66 points. Mm-hmm. And so it's, to put it in context, like you don't see that often. And that's not to take away from the MLS teams, because those are phenomenal seasons that they're having. But for games with 2 to go, it's just unbelievable what Kansas City has done. And, being a broadcaster, like you can't watch every team every week because you're constantly looking for the games you're on and things like that. But every time I look to see what they're doing, I'm like, how? Like, how are they still doing this with players that are out, the depth that they have, new goal scorers? I mean, Shawinga's tale as old as time is going to score goals, but it's pretty unreal what we're seeing and what we're witnessing with the Kansas City Current. And I know I said recently that I think Washington Spirit can kind of maybe give them a run for their money. I do still believe that in a one-off game, but what they've done during the season has been unprecedented.
It is bordering on the insane. You've only given up 11 goals the entire season. 11 goals in a season, and a goal difference of plus 36. You're averaging 1.96 a match. You've scored 47. You've given up 11. No penalties conceded. Fouls committed. It's like 10 a game. In fouls suffered, just under 9 a game. 25 yellows. Long ball percentage is 3 out of every 7. You have 31 assists on the year. Can you think of, and I don't care what status it is, it's college, pickup, you on a Sunday afternoon with your group, TST, doesn't matter where. Can you think of a performance in a league setting that has been as dominant as this, whether you've seen it, been a part of it, noticed it in a book someplace? What can we compare this to?
Can I be like a major Tar Heel right now and bring up some Tar Heels history?
I mean, since you left Ramsey's in the dishwasher.
Well, I have to bring up the Tar Heels again. Normally, I think I'm bringing them up again because I had to not be biased for 90 plus minutes yesterday or Sunday. So I have to go to the 91 to 94 era of Mia Hamm at North Carolina. I don't think she lost a game in her entire career. And so, yes, we're talking many years ago. Still at the time, relative to what was going on, it was pretty unbelievable. The year that I won the national championship, we went 27-0-0 in 2003. And so there's a lot of that at the college level. But at the professional level, nothing comes to mind. When I think about any team, and I could be wrong. I'm not like someone who can rattle off sports stats and knowledge at the top.
Come on.
I'm just so bad at that. I'm so contextual in the game. But I don't believe that in the soccer world, in especially domestically, league-wise, anything. I think of all the previous champions in the WSA, WPS, NWSL, even MLS. It's pretty unprecedented. I got to be honest.
It's ridiculous. And we have 2 games left in the regular season. You mentioned Spirit; they're 18 points behind, but they're locked into the 2 because they're 8 points clear of the chaos that we're going to be embracing in the NWSL over the next 2 weeks,
Mhm.
because 3 through 8, 6 teams separated by that many points, and I'm holding up 3 fingers. Orlando at 36, Gotham at 35, better goal difference than Seattle by +9, San Diego at 34, and then you've got to get into more mathing of math, because San Diego and Portland have the same number of points, have the same goal difference. And so you've got to look in the 19th category to figure out what that's going to look like. San Diego right now has 2 more goals scored than Portland at 34 points. Then you've got Racing Louisville, who's at 33, and they've scored the same number of goals as Portland has. So if there's any kind of chaos that's attached to that, you've got to go down to that tiebreaker involving everybody from 6, 7, and 8. Courage are trying to make a dash in there at 29 points. They've got their 4 points back. Angel City and Houston are 6 points back. But the chaos of 3 through 8 in the final 2 weeks of the season is bordering the insane.
It is. If you can only watch one game a weekend and that actually has implications, watch what Louisville and North Carolina Courage do. They're 8th and 9th, and they play the same 2 teams the last 2 weeks. It's just flipped. So they both play Gotham, who's fighting for as high of a seeding as they can get, very talented, in great form. And they both play Bay, who's eliminated, but is playing still well, a little bit of a spoiler type of team. It's basically in their own hands. And so how they do against those teams will be really fun to watch.
All right, what's your itinerary for this week, other than making sure that the dishes are washed and that someone is taken outside when they demand to be taken outside?
This past week was like my last crazy week. I have MLS this coming weekend in New York City FC versus Seattle Sounders. So I'll be leaving there on Friday. It'll be on Apple TV MLS Season Pass on Saturday at 6 p.m.
Got it. So who's with you in the booth?
Jessica Charman.
Oh, so the Wonder Twins are in.
Yes.
The Wonder Twins are up in the tri-state.
For
Okay.
Decision Day, it'll be fun.
Okay, so what I am proposing on Decision Day, on the Friday before Decision Day, is that I'm going to talk to the folks that set up our guests, and I'm going to try to have as many Apple voices in the show as humanly possible from 9:05 to 11:05. I'm just basically turning it into a Decision Day show of chaos.
Perfect.
Anybody that wants to come in can come in, say their piece, do their preview, get out the door, and then keep going. And I imagine that Terrence will probably be here the entire time.
Perfect. Well, I will be walking through LaGuardia if you'll let me, because the first part of that I'll be on a flight. But if I land, I will do some LaGuardia on the road type of content. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. So LaGuardia content, provided there aren't any delays or anything, or maybe you should just cause an international incident and just go ahead and fire up the tablet on the plane.
I'll think about it.
All right. So once again, thanks as always for dropping by and batting leadoff on Tuesdays to give us everything going on in the college game and the NWSL and a little Brad Gazan and setting up your weekend with the Wonder Twins. As always, KCD, great to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will catch up with you again next week on the flip side of Decision Day.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
There goes Kacey, and she's going to go wash her Ramsey's mug now. She's going to go turn the dishwasher on to make sure that that's all fired up for everything. So it's always great to catch up with KCD and find out where she be and let everything know what's going on. ACC, NWSL. And I'm glad that we get to open that door with Kacey and talk about the NWSL, because I think because we're locked into Major League Soccer and World Cup qualifiers and everything, I don't think we've had the chance to sit there and literally just understand. Do you understand what is going on with the Kansas City Current? It is insane. There's a reason Jason Sudeikis is wearing the puffy bomber jacket, because they're ridiculous. Insane, ridiculous, and oh my God, I can't believe it. So that's KCD. Obviously, a lot of our thoughts are with Brad this morning, and yes, thank you, Dr. D, and morning David, morning OG, morning Ricky, morning Modaflow, and morning Dell. That's the early returns. But yes, for those of you that might have missed it out of the blocks, it was posted this morning on both Brad's social and on Atlanta United social. Brad Gazan hanging them up. 21 years as a keeper, and it will be an emotional environment on Saturday. And what I would anticipate, and this is something that I think we've talked about a little bit, it would not surprise me if Brad got the start and then, say, 10 minutes to go, he got the curtain call. And he got subbed out for it is going to be one of those things. I think that it is going to be one of those moments where you're going to have – he'll go 80. Then for those of you in the building, and I would recommend to get in the building to see Brad for the last time, it's going to be one of those moments. And you're going to probably see him start, and you'll get the curtain call with about 10 to go. Jaden will go in and finish, and we'll find out what's going on there. That would be my gut, and I know that would be, like I said, I am not – I am not in charge of substitutions and substitution patterns and lineups and such, but to give the man his due for what he has done here in this particular part of the country, I would start him, and then what I would do is I'd sub him out. Like I said, that's just my gut. That's what I would do for the whole thing, and that gives another reason for a lot of us to go into the building on Saturday for 6:00 in the matchup against DC United. So I would look for something like that. But you figure that Brad's going to get the start, and then you'll worry, and then you'll sit there and you'll find out what's going on from there. So that is that's my gut. But the biggest thing, once again, Brad Gazan announcing on social media a little after 9:00 this morning that he's hanging them up after 21 years. And I think what we've seen from Brad is the idea of a future, because we saw during the Club World Cup, we saw how he and Mo Adams and Derek Williams, they were hometown grabs. It's like, look, you guys want to get some you guys want to get some work in, and so you see the future for a lot of those folks. And so it would not surprise me one bit if Brad was enlisted to be sitting at the table, sitting at the on the edges of the adult table for tournaments to come. So that'd be my gut. If Brad wanted to go that path, then I could see him working in that path without any kind of fear of the responsibilities that are there at the end of the adult table, or standing on the edge of the floating lazy Susan or anything like that, to give his thoughts as a pundit going forward. So Brad Gazan hanging him up. And like I said, I don't think we can properly quantify what he has meant for every aspect of it. And Atlanta United, I know that some of you have posted in there as well that Atlanta United posted it front and center on their website as well. And so it is a thank you from Brad, and considering everything that Brad has done. Let me see if we have the numbers broken down for Brad here. So the bio in and of itself: 6'4", 207, turned 41 a little over a month ago. Part of the Club World Cup broadcast, and secondary transfer window July 10, 2017. Multi-year contract extension 2020. 32 starts last year, 6 clean sheets. And remember, this is coming off of, in 2022, started the first 7 matches of the year in 22. Clean sheet, ruptured an Achilles tendon April 16th against FC Cincinnati, moved to the season-ending injury list on April 27th. This is someone who came back from a ruptured Achilles tendon 3 years ago at the age of 38, and came back and performed the way that he did for Atlanta United in 2023 27 starts, 7 clean sheets, 8 saves against LAFC in 2023. Then in 2024, 32 starts, 6 clean sheets, 113 saves, career high in 24, 72% save percentage, 9 saves against the Purple Team on decision day, tying the club record for saves in a match. 3 penalty kick saves in MLS play, the most in a single season in club history. Started all 5 of the playoff games in 24. Game 3 of round 1, club playoff record, 9 saves, 26 saves in all 5 of the playoff matches, 76.5 save percentage. Saved the penalty kick in the shootout against Montreal in the wild card round to get to that next round. 300th career MLS appearance, 10th keeper in league history in 24 to reach 300 games played. 2021, 33 matches, all comps, 29 MLS, 10 clean sheets. Top 5 in save percentage at 77.2. 3 matches in CONCACAF Champions League, started the round against NYC. 2020, 27 matches, all comps. Only Atlanta player to start and play every minute in 2020. 23 matches, MLS play, 6 clean sheets, 6 high saves against the Purple Team. 2 clean sheets against Motagua, and the 1-0 win against Club America in 2020. 2019, 45 matches, all comps. Started and played every MLS minute in 2019, 18, 12, and 4. 18 victories, tied for the league lead. New single-season franchise record back in 2019, 14 clean sheets. Also tied for the league lead in 2019. New MLS record, 5 consecutive shutout victories, 91 saves, a 1.26 goals against, save percentage 67.4. All-Star 2018-2019, 3 MLS Team of the Week honors. 2 clean sheets in the playoffs, getting to the Eastern Conference Final 2019. 6 saves in the win against New England to open the postseason. Started 4 of the 5 in the Open Cup, 2 clean sheets there. 2018, 33 starts, 26 and 6, 8 clean sheets. Single season best mark for a veteran keeper, 3rd most in MLS history at the time. 81 saves regular season, new club record. Goals against, 1.24. New club record, 9 saves in a match, NYC, back on June 9th of 2018. 1 MLS Team of the Week, MLS Cup playoffs, started the Eastern semis. Extended the playoff shutout streak to 300 minutes at the time. Clean sheets Eastern Conference Final MLS club. 2017, joins the club during the secondary window. 14 starts, 6-1-7, 8 clean sheets, 38 saves. Goals against the .71, led Major League Soccer, 3rd best mark in the league in league history on a 1,000-minute minimum. Led the MLS in save percentage in 2017 with a percentage of 79.2. 6th longest shutout streak in league history at the time, 541 minutes. 3 MLS Saves of the Week winners, MLS Team of the Week, MLS Cup playoffs, 120 minutes against Columbus. In a nutshell, that's me busting through everything that Brad Guzan has done here on the field with Atlanta United. Then you get into what he was off the field for Atlanta United. Proud father, parent, husband, and to interact with him in a professional setting where you're asking him questions. He will give you the answers, and he's been a stand-up guy the entire time. You need a quote from Brad when Brad's available, something after a match, Brad will give it to you. His frankness and his honesty, not willing to hide behind sound bites or anything like that. Always accessible, always there in the community. Shoot, all you've got to do is look at what Brad was there for in the, when we're doing the unified action, when we're doing the unified games on the network, at ATLUTD.com. Brad's always there with the unified team. I mean, first guy that I can grab for sound bites when I'm doing sideline for the unified, Brad's down there. Brad's always in the pile. Brad's always making sure that the unified team is out there and that they're being cheered and coached and appreciated the way that they are. Brad's first and foremost out there as that ambassador, one of the ambassadors for Atlanta United. Jay and Matt Edwards also being a part of it. Greg Garza being a part of it too. So I don't think it's going to take a while for us to properly quantify what Brad Gazan has meant to Atlanta United, and not just the field, but the entire element of, if you put the words Atlanta United in quotes, it's going to take us a while to quantify and appreciate everything that Brad Gazan has done on the field and off ever since he walked in the door. And I know that there was a thought that Brad might go and see if he wanted to be a compete for a number 1 gig someplace inside of Major League Soccer. But today at 9:05, we got our answer. Brad Gazan hanging him up at the age of 41. David, I appreciate the thought. Morning, Wiley, by the way. Morning, David. And David has suggested that all supporters shave their heads for Saturday. And if you can't do that, there's got to be a costume shop that has the bald caps. Grab some of those and go into the building on Saturday night with those bald caps on. If you can't shave your head, as David is suggesting, go to your favorite costume shop and get the bald cap and put the bald cap on and walk in the building. So it is a day that we knew would come. We didn't know when it would come because, as we've always said, keepers age differently. And for Brad to come back from an Achilles rupture to do what he was able to do for Atlanta United speaks to the man, speaks to the athlete, and speaks to what the game means to him and what being a part of this franchise here in Atlanta meant to him. So we get the news on a Tuesday that Brad's hanging him up. And so Saturday will be one of those moments where we get to celebrate, remember, embrace, and reflect on what Brad Gazan has done here for Atlanta United ever since he walked in the door. Ever since that 6-1-7 half season when he took over for Alec Can and has walked forward to be a part of this community. And I mean that in capital C. On the field, off the field, Brad, part of the community ever since he walked in the door. And so I think that it is only fair that the 17s one more time embrace Brad the way that you have, the way that you will, and the way that you do. So embrace him. Yes. See, David, there you go. Yes. Closest Spirit Halloween store. Yes. That's what you do. Like I said, if you don't want to shave your head, because I mean, we are heading into the fall and you kind of want to keep, stuff on top of your dome here because at least it keeps it warmer a little bit. So go to a Halloween store, grab the bald caps, walk in the door, which means I'm probably going to be chasing after one of those myself. We'll see what happens. We'll see if the Hoff and I can coordinate something like that. But I've got to go to a Halloween store and see if we can pull that off for halftime on Saturday. So that is that's the early part. But because we are a full service show and we really had just a bunch of tape that we were going to be getting into here in hour number 2, we're going to bring Maddie in, and Maddie. There has been a note to the floor where David is saying that all supporters should shave their heads for Saturday, but what I posed in return was, if you don't want to shave your dome, just go to one of those Spirit of Halloween stores and grab like the bald cap.
Oh yeah, I love this idea. This is great.
Grab one of those, or grab like 18 of them, and we need to sell out all of the Halloween stores here in the area. So everyone is going into the building on Saturday wearing the bald cap, unless you want to shave your dome, which is fine. That personal choice and all that. But I think to celebrate Brad, this is now turning into its own little groundswell of an idea. Everyone goes in bald in one manner, way, shape, or form on Saturday.
I think I love that. I think it'll be great. As Brad is walking out of the buses to walk down the thing, he'll just see a row of just people in bald caps. You know what? I'm here for it.
Yeah, I don't know if my dome could handle it, but no, I think that we spent a little time with KCD, discussing the legacy of Brad Gazan. We've talked about the stats and the numbers of everything, and one of the things that I mentioned was that this is a gentleman who, at the age of 38, ruptured his Achilles and
Yep.
came back to be an integral part of Atlanta United to continue to perform and get them into playoffs and playoff wins after recovery from a ruptured Achilles. I
Yeah.
don't think any of us will fully understand the rehab, the desire, the effort to come back from something like that in your late 30s and continue to perform the way that Brad did in Major League Soccer.
I remember, and today is very weird because I get up early to go and, do an interview for the SDH network. And immediately before I get on the interview, I turn on my phone and I see it. I see the post. And it was weird because I felt a wave kind of like nostalgia, like of also like, I don't want to say sadness, but like also kind of.
Yeah.
Because, I was a fan since 2017. My family were founding members. We were founding members all the way through. And I was at the inaugural game. I remember being in the Benz for some of those incredible moments for Brad. And it's really bizarre because there's one moment that really sticks out to me that's like totally like unrelated. I don't know why it does. It's just, I remember watching the MLS All-Star game in 2018 and listening to Brad do an interview in between the post. And I remember being like,
oh crap. Yeah.
what? Like, I remember this happening. And I don't know. For me, it's one of those things where, it's been a joy watching Brad play throughout as a fan, and then getting to join the media circle and getting to chat with him and getting to talk to him. I mean, he truly is one of just the best people out there. Just so incredible. And I'm so happy for him in his 21 years of doing this, an absolute rock star. I mean, the fact that last year this man was single-handedly bringing down Messi and friends with just himself. I think Brad has had a tremendous career, and it has been such a joy getting to watch it happen, getting to talk about it, and getting to, talk to him about those moments too, and what he's done for Atlanta. He will always be an Atlanta legend, always. And he'll always have a place, I think, not only with Atlanta, but also if he ever wanted to come on and chat on the SDH network, I'm sure open door, Brad.
Yeah. All-time leader in appearances for 261, 3 CONCACAF Gold Cups with the USMNT, MLS Cup, Open Cup 2019, Campeones Cup 2019, retires as the club's all-time leader in appearances. And one of the,
to this day is my favorite. If this is actually my calling card, guys, hold on. This is my calling card for a second. I need for somebody to find the full recording of the Campeones Cup from 2019, and I need y'all to send it to me immediately.
Ooh.
Okay. I need it, guys. I need it more than anything, and not the highlights. I don't need the highlights. I need the full game. Okay. Because this is my dad's and I's favorite Atlanta United game ever.
Okay.
I'm being so for real. I need this game like immediately because it was so good.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the highlights, all 4 minutes of it. And there's the highlights, all 5:45 of it. There's the highlights, all 8 minutes of it.
I need it. I don't care. I do not care in what form or capacity it is. I need the full game immediately.
I just have this vision of you with like a really ratty VHS tape kind of hanging around looking at the Campeones Cup. So the most maximum length highlight reel looks like it is 14 minutes, and it comes from Atlanta United 6 years ago. So we got 14 minutes of it where the Club America matchup and a Dion Pereira sighting after.
I have been asking around for so long for this. I literally went to the big guns. I went to Matt. I was like, oh, wait, actually, are you for real?
Modify Spanish.
I don't care. I'm so here for it. Oh my god. Wait. Oh my gosh. Wait. I'm actually gonna freak out. This is the best day ever.
Okay.
Yes.
So Modiflow, if you would please reach out to Maddie on social media, so that way Modiflow can get you.
Thank you.
So yes, Modiflow is totally for real.
Yes.
Not just for real, but totally for real.
This is insane.
So Maddie gets her ESPN Deportes broadcast of the 2019 Campeones Cup.
Yes.
And one of the things that that I mentioned before you came on is that, yes, we know about everything on the field with Brad and all of the accolades and the appearances and such, but I don't think that we fully grasp what he did off the field with Atlanta United as well. I mentioned the unified team with, him being usually my first interview on the sidelines. Hey, there's Brad. Brad's on the sidelines. He's in the pile. He's kind of helping Marty Jellamy out as a coach, just being there as a chief cheerleader, assistant coach, all those things, all of the community stuff that I'm hoping that he will continue if he decides to stay here in Atlanta, or unless he goes home to suburban Chicago. I hope that if he stays here in Atlanta after his playing time is done, that he continues to be that ambassador for Atlanta United with the unified team and with all the other causes that we've seen him out there with.
Oh, I think he will. I think that's just who Brad is. I think that's what he would do 110%. And, it's really interesting. We have no idea where to go from here too. Cause I mean, he's done, I think, it all. Honestly, he's done it all, from not only playing, but, also helping coach out with the unified team, being ambassador there. Also had a stink of broadcasting too in the Club World Cup as well. So I feel like the opportunities are endless. And we all know that whatever Brad's going to do, he's going to kill it. I mean, he's going to kill it. It's one of those things where you're like, yep, okay, makes sense. There wouldn't be one avenue where he would go that I'd be like, whoa. I would probably be like, yeah, makes sense. Because yeah.
It's like, okay, you're going to drive the Goodyear blimp. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Cool, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Done.
Brad will do 3 lessons. He's like, yeah, I got it. We're good.
Yeah, he was driving the team. He was driving this bus for a hot minute. He's got this. I have faith in him.
You see him driving the bus on the. You see him driving the bus on game day. Literally, how they do the circle and they end up working their way to do the walk with the golden spike and everybody signs it. You see Brad coming up on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, he's the one driving the bus and he's the first one off. It's like he comes in and everybody from digital. It's like they open the doors to the bus and Brad's sitting and he's got the cap on and everything and he's hi, delivering everything. And he's the first one out the door. And then he ends up wearing a security outfit, and he's making sure that as everybody's going out onto the field on Saturday night, he's making sure that the lines are all in place, and he's got the security IZOD working and everything. So he'll wear 19 different caps on Saturday, just to kind of every single piece working his way through, and start for Atlanta United against DC United.
He's doing all of this Saturday?
I'm guessing. Why not? You're the one who said he was driving the bus. So,
I didn't know this is where it was the avenue was going. I think
it'd be great if Brad basically just did everything on Saturday.
I love it.
Yes, it's yes, you drive the bus and drop the players off, but you're the first one out. Then you're the one who's operating the elevator for them as they work their way down on the field. First one out in the procession, and then here's what you do.
Oh.
So all right, so how when they do the procession and they sign the golden spike and they come down the cargo elevator and they work their way down to the bottom floor and then they come out onto the field.
Yes.
Here's what you do.
Oh, okay.
You do all of that, and normally we see all the guys and they come out and the coaching staff and everything. What you do is you don't tell Brad, and so of course that means that you don't have him watch this show.
Okay, all right.
But they come out of the tunnel. Steve Craig says, and welcome to the pitch, your Atlanta. What he probably does is, welcome to the pitch, Brad Gazan and your Atlanta United. Probably, Steve does that. But all the guys they give Brad a head start, but they don't tell him. So Brad's the first one out in the procession when Steve says, Brad Gazan and your Atlanta United. And then, so Brad comes out and he comes out by himself, but he didn't know that. They let him have his 15 feet difference on the way out onto the field. And they let the fans in, because traditionally the fans, I don't think, are necessarily in the building at that point.
I think it's one of those where I think it depends on the game. I think if they get open it a bit earlier, yes. Maybe I think it's either right before fans are let in, or it's right after, or it's right after gates open. Gates are open, and it's people are slowly getting to their spots.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping is that maybe you open gates a little early, and reminder to everyone who's in that section, for the supporter section in the end zone, you're going to get to your seats. Just don't climb over everybody else to get there. Open things up a little early. Let everybody go down into the supporter section with the 17s where they can be there for Brad as he walks out with the team. So that way, just kind of schedule things out a little bit, but don't run over people to get to the bottom. You're all going to be there. You're all going to be loud. You make all the noise and everything. Just don't run over everybody.
I was actually going to wait and maybe like pitch this to you and Jason later, but you know what? It's SDH. We'll pitch it right now. Why not?
Sure, yeah.
Supporters, if you're in the Home Depot backyard or if you're in around Gate 1, I might be coming to find you on Saturday to chat a little bit about Mr. Brad Kazan.
I think that's a solid play. I think it is.
Just throwing it out there. If you guys want to, come and find me.
It is.
Abby, perfect. Amazing.
Okay.
It's already worked out so well.
Yes. So Abby letting everybody know that it is tight timing with the Pride celebration at the tailgate, though. Yes, at lot 17. Yes. So I would just hope that maybe there's some allowances when it comes to timing, just a little bit. Just let folks in maybe a little early, so they can get down there for the procession of the guys when they come out in their golf shirts and matching gear and everything. Just open things up a little early, make sure everything's fine for this one time. Because of what Brad means and because of what this day is, I think that it should be a solid representation of all of that. Just make sure that we get to properly honor Brad in as many different ways as possible.
Absolutely.
And my guess is that, like I said, I'm not Ronnie. I know that you and Jason are going to be catching up with Ronnie probably tomorrow?
To be determined. Actually
okay. So
whatever I get told, whatever I get told. Yes.
Yeah. So whenever you and Jason are up there, and since you have not interacted yet after the moment, so when you get up there, just find out. I would imagine he's going to start. And he gets the start, and we are of, I think, two separate tracks. If it's a clean sheet, let him finish it out.
Yeah.
If it's and even if you're getting to like 10 minutes to go and the game is well in hand, you give Brad his curtain call and let Jaden finish it out. Let him sub out, and he gets to take his gloves and the tape off, and he gets to I don't know if they do the same thing with goalies that they do with wrestlers and things like that, where when you're done with a wrestling career, you take your boots off, you leave them in the ring. I don't know if Brad does the same thing. I don't know if keepers do the same thing with their gloves and their tape, where you lay it right at the edge as you're being subbed out. I don't know if they do the same kind of thing, or if you leave it in the net or anything like that. I don't know GK Union protocol for something like that. We'll have to ask Jess if Jess can come in on Friday, but I don't know if you have to leave your stuff in the ring, on the field of play. I don't know if there's an equivalent there, but I think if he's got a clean sheet, he finishes. Otherwise, sub him out with like 10 to go or 20 to go and let Jaden finish things out. That's my opinion.
I would agree. Absolutely. I think I would completely agree with you.
Yeah, David, as long as he leaves in 10 seconds. Because we don't know who the center ref is, because the center ref could be a real
gosh, yeah, because of the new rule.
Yeah, so I don't know if the center ref is going to be a stickler. Yes.
Hopefully the referees would be like, you know what?
Yes.
Like, yes. I feel like you would get that. Give me Phillip. Let it be Phillip. Phillip would get it.
How 10 seconds? Phillip counts up, and he goes 10 seconds, and then he goes, however.
I love Phillip. Phillip would do it. Phillip's fine.
Yeah. Then there are a couple of other individuals that stick in our collective brains that would sit there and go, red card. See, now that would be funny. If they give him a yellow on his
you might see me jump from the press box.
Well, I might
go and jump in the press box.
Yeah, so if you end up with literally, as Brad is walking off, if he gets subbed out because he takes longer than 10 seconds, you see the center ref sit there and go, yellow card,
I think for me, I agree with you. I think that if it's a clean sheet, you let him stay in the whole time. And honestly, I would even argue you let him stay in the whole time no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of those matches against DC too. Neither team, I think, is going for the playoffs as well. You want to finish it out. And I think you let Brad finish it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Morning commando. Yes, from one bald legend to another. Absolutely true. That would be Zizou legendary if you got a red in his last match. But yes, Morning Commando, and yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we would like. Obviously, the romantics in us want to sit there and go, well, yeah, we'd love for this to happen, but this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But first and foremost, if you were to ask Brad would be like, no, I want to win the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Pomp, circumstance, whatever, save it for later. And, Brad would probably end up being the one who hammers in the golden spike and all of it.
I agree. I agree with Bart on this one. Bart says, I think you should get the whole game and you do a ceremony post game. That's what I think should happen. I think Brad should get the whole game, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I would assume you do something probably just because of how pivotal Brad was to this organization.
Mm-hmm.
One of the longest standing members of Atlanta United, and he's, going to be taking his final bow. Like, yeah, absolutely. I think you definitely give him the whole game if that's what's going to happen. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is very, very, it's, these moments come, you don't like them when they come, but they're coming anyway. Quick note, for those of you that might have missed Morning Espresso, Jason has his initial thoughts on Brad's retirement. And once again, you can listen to Morning Espresso here on the SDH network. That's kind of like our opening breakfast bit. That's like the bagel and the cream cheese compared to if SDH AM was the breakfast, then Morning Espresso is kind of like the bagel and the cream cheese.
Brad takes a PK if we run. Honestly, I'm here for it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And David, I figured that's what's going to happen is that for the golden spike, it's going to be Brad. So Brad will get to him.
Has Brad ever taken a penalty?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm just curious. Now the wheels are turning. Has he?
Yes.
Ever taken a penalty?
Yeah. I mean, it would have had to have been in a situation where your PK shootout would have gone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking. So let's see. Brad does not have any goals to his credit, at least in this season. So all comps. We need to go to where do we go traditionally for year of career stats? Where do we traditionally go for those? Is that a who scored thing, or is that a where do we normally go for that?
I do not know.
That was not me. I didn't.
That was me. I apologize. Hold on. Okay. We're gonna go on mute.
Okay.
Not mute. Do not disturb.
Yes. Do not disturb. Okay. So we need career stats for Brad Gazan, and so we are looking at attacking stats, and I would guess that this would be okay. So he does not have any goals or assists in his time. So then we get into the whole notion of matches played, XG, those kinds of things. I don't know if Brad has ever taken a penalty. So let's ask the Google machine the question: has Brad Gazan ever taken a penalty kick? It wouldn't surprise me if the last time he did it, it was at the frickin' University of South Carolina or something when he was in college. Okay, so has Brad Gazan ever taken a penalty kick? VAR review, PK save, Leagues Cup. Bradley Gazan stats, clean sheets and saves data. Verifying you're human. Footy stats is verifying that I'm human. I'm human. I mean, this isn't hard. Let's see. I do not see any kind of penalty kick taken by Brad. So we need career. So career stats, yellows and reds. Brad actually has 3. He's got 2 red cards in Major League Soccer. One of them was bogus, and it was also bogus. But let's see. Detailed stats, total per 90 minutes per. I do not see any kind of goals, expected goal, shots taken, assist, passing, creation, dribbling, offsides, penalties, statistical analysis, season performances. I do not see any kind of penalty kick shootout attempt in the history of Bradley Gazan. I do not. So maybe, if there is a PK, you'd let Brad do it.
Absolutely. Why not? YOLO.
Yeah. I mean, it's so it ends up with send him up for a late corner. So just have Leroy Jenkins the whole thing.
I also just realized too. So I for the record, my roommate also does a lot of broadcasting stuff as well.
Yes.
My roommate loves Brad Guzan.
Mm-hmm.
I unfortunately just had to break the news to her that Brad Guzan is retiring.
Oh, and for those that do not know, who is your roommate, by the way?
Oh, her name is Caroline Harris.
Yes, for those that go up to the Battery, then
Battery also at KSU too. You'll see her a lot at KSU. So tune in.
Yes.
Tune in.
So Abby was like, had a goal. They never credit him, and it wasn't a penalty, or it might have been an assist. So somewhere in there is the Brad Guzan offensive statistic that we are looking for. So that's what we're chasing here this morning for Brad. We're trying to figure out how we can have Brad Guzan's last regular season game in an Atlanta United jersey max out with all the experiences. Literally, it's like, okay, you haven't done this, okay, you get to do that. You haven't done this, okay, you get to do that. It's like you get to do this, and this.
We let Miguel give him an assist as he's driving to the goal.
Well, then that would mean you have to just make sure that you have folks behind to make sure folks inside the six. And Brad
got it. Bartek's got it. He's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the. We need Bart to come back in one piece probably by Thursday. First and foremost, he needs to be healthy.
Oh yeah, Poland, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Modiflo says if Brad Guzan scores, the celebration needs to be a Leo Campana effigy that he pushes into the net. See, that's what you do. You sit there and it's like he scores, and then you just see Brad kind of push an imaginary person into the net. I will still.
To this day, that is the most insane game. I will say being there, like in Fort Lauderdale for that game was absolutely the most insane like trip I've ever I went through so many emotions in that game. My heart rate, my resting heart rate, I think for a solid like 30 minutes was like over 130 because of how stressed I was. It was insane. And Brad absolutely played like he was 21 again. Just going bah, 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 bah. And I was like, what's going on? And then, Campana just throws him into the back of the net. My favorite thing too about it, and it still sticks out to me, is just that he's in the net. The second Luis Suarez comes up, and he just goes, Fwah! And he he sprints out and he's like, what? And oh my gosh, it's to this day. And then also the offside doc that they did too, that MLS released too, that as well, like them then showing the conversation after that. It's to this day the most insane thing. But so fun.
Yes. Yes. And so you end up with, see, now I'm trying to go through the highlights, and I'm trying to figure out if we got it anywhere. And I know that we do, but it's on another freaking flash.
Gosh. Yeah, hearing Mike and Jason, so for reference, guys, when I was there, we were outside. So like the press box is above us. Like we are like outside on this like ledge. And like, so we're set up there. It is literally like a table, all of our like equipment, Mike's on my left, Yes, my left. Yes, my left. And then Jason's on my right. I'm typing on SDH. I'm live tweeting. I'm watching this happen. And the second I'm about to write Miami scores, I'm about to press enter. I look up and all of us are absolutely like raging. Like I almost threw my laptop. My laptop almost got thrown to the ground. I was up on my feet like, what? I had to not speak because I can't speak because you can hear me through the mic. And I was like, oh, that can't happen either. It was the most insane thing. And then also too, sitting right there is Bartek, then obviously won it, was absolutely wild. Wild. Insane.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna have to find the call now because I'm trying to figure out. Okay, what was the date of the chaos in that particular matchup? Because I might try and do some
November 9th.
So it was November 9th?
November 9th.
Okay, so
I know because I'm working on a project for, if you all want to see, actually, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of credentials. It's kind of all nasty right now because I need to get tape to do it, but I'm putting all my credentials in like a little.
Oh, well, I mean, what what Pat's does is she does like the little shadow boxes.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
all right, so you're getting a shadow box made.
Yeah, well, this is just like a frame that I got because like I saw something I can do where it's just like I take all my credentials and I just like put them in the way I want to, and I can just like tape them to the board and then it's all there.
Okay.
So I have a lot of credentials.
Okay.
And oh, this one's falling. Don't look at that. That's why I need tape. I thought I could do it without it. I need tape. It's
but I mean, what Pat's has done is she does like the sewing pins, the PIN.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I also need to get a shadow box because I have a jersey I gotta get together too.
Which one? I mean, because you got like 19 jerseys that you need to have.
Jesus, John, it's early in the morning. Don't come at me like that.
I'm not. I'm speaking. Look, I'm the same way.
No, the sign jersey that I have.
Okay.
From our friends over in Bundesliga 2.
Yes.
I need to
So
get that.
it is not. It is not coming at you at all. I was not coming at you under any piece of that.
Oh my God! Since we're here, should I go grab the jersey?
I think you should.
Oh my God! Hold on, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah. So, all right, let me see what we got here. Did I do a cold open on November 11th? Did I do? No. Okay. So I'm trying to listen, and I'm hoping that. See if I've got the highlights. I'm trying to figure out if I had the highlights of.
All right, we're back.
Okay, so we're back. Good deal.
Here's the jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm trying to scrub the November 11th show to see if I have the highlights of those particular. See, there you go. And
then we have the whole team signed it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet when they came to town yes, SPGG Grutherford. Yes, absolutely true. So,
amazing. So I got to get a shadow box to get that.
Doing things. Okay.
Oh, it kind of looks like a little bit of a Celtic jersey.
Yeah, it does.
Just a little bit, but like it's not.
Just make sure that you don't tell Jarrett that though. Wise.
I will not.
Now rolling it down the middle to McCarty.
Okay, hang on. I might
be. They won't quit.
Okay, I think here we go. So this is.
They won't quit.
Yes, and so so I'm glad that you could hear what I was scrubbing while I was. All right, so here is from the November 11th, 2024 show. This was Reaction Monday after the chaos at Messi and Friends in the Erector set. Minutes wise, and Jamal gets Atlanta United on the board to draw things even at 1.
At center spot, here is Williams now. Rolling it down the middle to McCarty. McCarty, a deflected ball ahead to TRA at the penalty spot. Shot, score! They won't quit. They won't die. No matter how many times you try to kill them, no matter how much adversity you throw at them, they're not going away. It's 1-1, less than 2 minutes after they concede.
So less than 2 minutes after they concede, they were down a goal. 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes after they conceded, because Jamal did it again.
And Martinez will give it away to Ronald Hernandez. Flick the head to Schleich, to McCarty. Pop down the middle, Moranchuk onside behind the defense. Moranchuk to TRA. Shot! Score! 2 goals in less than 2 minutes. Atlanta United leads.
All right, so then that just kind of adds to everything. So we're going to go forward here, and we're going to go forward in the advancement of this game.
Oh,
Messi and Friends have never scored like that before, but this time Messi was the one that was inside the 6.
The throw was intercepted by Miami and chopped down the middle to Suarez. Now it pinballs to Messi at the top of the arc. He spins around Amador to Suarez, rolled back through. Here's a cross by Weigand to the back post, header, score.
Okay, so that's where we were, and I'm gradually getting to the other activity.
Slowly getting there.
We're building here, because the way that I'm doing this, I'm scrubbing the show live as we're talking about it. So literally, I can see where highlights look, because the audio registry is different in the timeline. So I'm literally looking for those kinds of moments, and so we're scrubbing November 9th, 2024 live here on the air. And this moment happened to make it 3-2 with about 15 minutes to go. Once again, courtesy of 92.9 The Game on the Odyssey app.
TRA is down behind the play. A Miami player down as it's rolled back to Hernandez. Cross the back post. Saba, it's over his head. It's going to roll to the left side of the 18. Amador's got it. Pitches to the back post. Header! 10, it's a goal! He scores! He scores! He scores!
So, all right. So that's, yes. And so we're getting, I'm trying to remember if I actually got the moment that we're looking for here. So hang on. Here's the ending of the game. Once again, Mike and Jason, courtesy of 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app.
Into the near corner. Amador trying to run it down. That's it! They blow for full time! They blow for full time! Atlanta United has pulled the greatest upset in the history of Major League Soccer! They have knocked out Messi! They have knocked out Miami! Atlanta United is going to the conference semifinals!
There you go. All right, so I don't have. I swear to God, we did it in the show, but I can't find it where.
You did. I remember. I will tell you what. No, David's 100% correct. I do the same thing. I think there's so many pivotal times where I remember hearing Mike on the radio, even not even like now, not even being like someone who is on 92.9, anything like that, being a fan and listening in the car with my dad, because like there'd be times where like I think like. My dad, obviously, he works. He has a job. So there'd be times where it'd be kind of a later game, and it's like, all right, I got to get home. So, like, we'd be in the car, and, like, something would happen. And immediately, like, it would be us scrambling to get the Odyssey app, turning it on and listening. It would be like, oh, my gosh.
Okay,
like,
so this might be it. Hang on. Could he explain
okay.
it?
I'd love to say something fancy and like I'm a tactical genius or something like that, but I'm not. And that's not the way I coach, so.
That was Rob. Okay, so that's Rob Post. Okay, so
Underline.
it's still Rob. I swear
It's
to
gotta
God,
be back. It has to be in your highlights. It can't be further back. It has to be in your highlights.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, so that's Post. Yeah, because I thought that I had pulled it, and it was a part of what the heck was going on. Keeping you. All right, so hang on. 3-2. So was it 3-2? No, because that was Suarez.
It was tied 2-2.
2-2, and then so okay. So let me see what we got. Catches me in. All right, so the second half of that play, we're going to talk about coming up in 25 minutes because there's a lot to digest there. Okay, so let's go to 54 minutes because I thought that I had completely and totally I thought I'd played it in sequence, but I didn't, and so
I thought you did though.
That's what I'm thinking. So trying to figure out what we're staring at here. So. Yeah, I'm scrubbing a show live on the air, trying to find a particular highlight where Brad Gazan got decked. That's the quote that will always stick with me in that particular. Oh, this might be it. Hang on.
Cross by Wing into the back post, header score. It's Brad the little guy.
Brad Gazan got thrown into his own goal.
Yes, he did. Now,
unbelievable.
It's after the goal. The goal will count by Messi. Will there be a red card in that because Brad was trying to get the ball and he was thrown into his net?
There better be a red card because Brad Gazan got thrown into his goal. And if that happened the other way, Atlanta would be playing with Dan.
He's going chest to chest with Lucas Spalla. Spalla now going forehead to forehead into Brad Gazan. This will do nothing to negate the goal, but should there be a red card in that for violent conduct? It's Messi's first goal of the playoffs. It's a well-placed header to equalize it, too. But Brad should be furious.
Messi runs into Brad trying to get the ball. That's not it. It's the second one from Campana, who just shoves Brad Gazan into the back of the goal, and he's going to get away with it because he's wearing a pink shirt.
He won't even get a yellow card.
Unbelievable.
Yes, there it is. I knew it was in there somewhere
because I remember like typing it, and I remember hearing Jason yell, "Brad just got decked," and I said, "What?"
Yeah, see that really, I think that should be a T-shirt for us. Brad Gazan got decked.
Like because Abby, I don't think so.
No, we never did. We never got a pro explanation.
But it was interesting too because like. In the onside doc, like you can hear the conversation because the ref's mic'd. And you can hear it because Brad goes up to him and is like, "Are you not going to do anything?" And he goes, "No."
No. And Lucas Zapala said no. And that was stunning. When that came out, that as a part of the doc that
I remember sitting and watching that like in the little preview thing. I remember watching it and I literally turned to Sophia and I was like, are you for real?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, are we joking? Insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. The fact that it was just a no was absolutely wild.
Yes.
Because like, well, and then had like the last like couple of minutes where they were trying to look for a freaking penalty to give to Inter Miami to tie things up. I literally, I think I sat there and I texted my dad because my dad is watching. My dad is like insanely texting me, like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the game, like, he's texting me, he's like, they're going to look for a penalty, aren't they? And I said, oh, yeah, they are. They are.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. And we won.
Yeah, not happening. But no, the Brad Gazan got decked was ridiculous.
My favorite, that entire game, that entire call might be my favorite Mike and Jason call.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love it because I think it's such an idea when we look at broadcasting. I'm also saying this not because, we're friends and I'm like, ooh, that was great. I'm also saying it because like being a fan and listening to that, like that made me feel like I was back there again. Like, I was like, who? Like, and that's what it needs to do. Like, you got to be passionate about it. And I think that's one thing that they do so well is showing the passion and like the emotion of what's happening. And that's something that I think we need to have more of, especially when it comes to broadcasting and in the game, because I mean, we're all fans at the end of the day. We all enjoy the game. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong in, showing your emotion when it comes to something, how you feel about something. I mean, it's what we do. It's what we do all day. Like we talk about our things. And I think that's why they do such a good job of it. They make you feel like, oh my gosh, you're here. And like you're there with them. And like you're along for the ride. And I think that's so important.
Yep. All right. So then what about this moment? Once again, courtesy of our friends at Major League Soccer and Big FOX.
We're hearing static, John. We're hearing static. John.
So did you just get static on that?
I did.
Well, darn.
Okay, it wasn't just me. I thought it was just me. I was like, okay, I was like, it's just me.
Okay. Well, that's weird because if I could play audio out of the show, I was trying to be clever. I guess I'm gonna have to be clever.
Hey, it's okay. What were you playing?
I was playing the end of MLS Cup in 2018.
Oh yeah, that was so. Here's another thing about this one. Since we're reminiscing a little bit.
Oh yeah, we should.
I obviously was a huge Atlanta United fan. Insane. Everybody, I feel like at this point, I was a theater kid. I was kind of the untraditional theater kid where like I was actually like made fun of because they were like, you're such a non-traditional theater kid because you're backstage watching a soccer match while we're in the middle of a game, like a middle of a show. And I said, and what about it? I don't know what to tell you. I'm committed to my craft and that's what it is. But MLS Cup comes around and I remember I went to my dad and I said, I want to go. And he said, Maddie, I love you, but that's your mom's ticket. And I said, of course it is. My mom, who also, I love my mom. Love you, Mom. If you're watching, I love you. She's not. She's in Italy. She's like a couple hours away. But if you're watching, no, don't. I love you. I was so pissed when she took that ticket. She doesn't like soccer. Like, she's not a big soccer person. And I was like, what do you mean? I was so mad. But I do vividly remember watching the MLS Cup in like my living room and like calling my dad like right when it happened and like freaking out and like losing my mind, wanting to go. Like, I think I asked my dad, I was like, are we going to the parade or what? And he was like, Maddie, I got work. I said, you're already going to be in Atlanta. Just take me with you. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. And it was like, I remember that night. So like, it's so like right there. It's insane. But no, I love my mom. I'm glad you got to go to the MLS Cup. That's awesome. And then I also used it against him because when the Open Cup happened, we had the final at the Benz, and it was a Tuesday. I remember going, well, you didn't take me to MLS Cup, so you got to take me to this final. And he said, fine. And then we went and watched Atlanta win the Open Cup. So
looks like Thursday is going to be the busy day for Children's South Care of Atlanta Training Ground. It looks like that's the busy day. So training at 9:30, and it looks like there's going to be a presser with Brad at noon. So,
amazing.
So that's the word. Yeah. So that pisses me off because I could play radio. I could play an audio file out of the computer, and I was just basically hitting play. But then I tried to do something off of the laptop, which was coming from another channel, and it wouldn't work. Okay, so fine, damn computer. Anyway, but yeah, so it's going to be tremendously. I don't know what the word is. I'll go ahead and say celebratory. I'll use that word because I know there's going to be a level of sadness. I know there's going to be a level of melancholy, and it's going to be one of those things where you're going to sit there and go, well, we know that this day comes in pro sports for everyone.
Yeah.
And for Brad to go out in this manner where he has the match, he's got the last home match, and it's on decision day, and it's on all of these, and it's in front of all of the 17s one more time where he gets to start. And I imagine, I don't know how many tickets you get on a game-by-game basis. I don't know. But I wonder how many of his teammates Brad hit up for their tickets, for their comps. It's like, are you using your tickets for this match? No. Hey, can I have them? How many members of Brad's family are going to be in the building?
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Are they just going to go ahead and charter something out of Illinois? Are they just going to charter a PJ and just go ahead and bring them all down? Get a Delta flight or something out of Midway and, something like that. But
no,
it will be on a bunch of different fronts. Yeah, it's probably going to get a little sandy in the building at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I was thinking about this yesterday. I just from two different standpoints of for me, yesterday I was thinking about, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, we're gonna have our last home game of the season, last game of the season. For me, it's weird because this is my first big season, actually covering the team full time.
Mm-hmm.
And also being a part of 92.9, which I've talked about extensively, how insane that is, even me saying it out loud, because being a fan, listening and being a part of it is insane.
Yeah.
But also too, to have it be going into Saturday, having it be, Brad.
That was dumb.
Whoa.
I don't know what happened there.
John said, stop talking.
No. John was hitting the button because he was trying to do this. He was trying to do
Good job, John.
That's
wow. No, but it's also surreal too, because it's I've watched Brad since the very beginning as a fan, and now getting to going into Saturday and it being, the last time, for him with Atlanta United. It's really weird. I don't know how to feel about it. I woke up this morning and I saw the post, and I remember just feeling oh, wow. I don't know. It's just weird, but it's also really cool because Brad's had an incredible career. So it's,
Yep. Jason, before you came on, we were able to find Brad Guzan got decked. And
we did in fact listen to it, and it did in fact make me laugh. Because I will never forget being right there, Mike's to my left, you're to my right, and I'm typing, and you scream, Brad just got decked, and I went, what? I was like, what?
I was a little riled up.
Well, understandably so, considering what Leo Campana did.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back, and as I mentioned this morning when the news hit, and we talked about it with Kacey White a little bit, and we've been breaking it down this morning, I don't think the impact of what Brad Guzan has meant, not just on the field, but off the field, and the growth of Atlanta United and where it is in Major League Soccer as an identity and a destination, and what the fans are, and all of these different things, and the off the field stuff, the community engagement that Brad has been a part of. And like I said, I mentioned our friends with the Unified team as well. I don't think, and we could probably take an entire show and mention everything that Brad has been a part of to get Atlanta United to where it is. I don't think it can be overstated what Brad has meant to this franchise ever since he walked in the door.
Not at all. And that's something that we have to start doing a better job of in this game, in this country, is honoring legends. We don't do a good enough job of this. We don't cherish these guys. We don't cherish what they do. I think at times we only focus on the national team when it comes to legends in American soccer. And guys like Nick Raimondo, guys like Kyle Beckerman, guys who are like Brad in that they have played for the national team and had big moments with the national team, but have given their lives to the sport in this country in Major League Soccer and in those communities. They have to be celebrated better. It's something that we all in this game have to do a better job of, because Atlanta United is not what Atlanta United is without Brad Gazan. He was the perfect goalkeeper to go get. And remember, they already had Sean Johnson lined up. Let's go back to 2016 real quick. They had already done a deal because Sean Johnson was going to be available. They had done a deal to bring him in. And then Brad Gazan became available, and Carlos Bocanegra 100% got it right. Moved everything to get Brad and bring him in. Moving on from Sean, who would have been coming home, which would have been a great story. Sean Johnson is another one of those great goalkeepers that the U.S. has produced. But Brad was so much potentially even more because of, I think, what we've seen. All of the things that he's done for this club, that you see some of it, you don't see all of it. Things like the match in Salt Lake City after a late goal being conceded in 2019, and the unified team was playing after, and it was a gut-wrenching loss. And Brad Gazan goes into the locker room, probably talks to the team, showers, gets out there before the unified game kicks off to high-five everybody, give them a pregame pep talk, and then they played a match. That kind of stuff. The kind of stuff that we don't always see, where he is willing to go to, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, one of the hospitals, and talk to kids. He's always giving his time. He's always done anything the club has needed, from speaking to the fans, from speaking to the community, to representing the club in the community, all those different things. So we're just incredibly lucky. And it's one reason why I think I've always gotten very frustrated with, I get this way anyway, in terms of blaming. Goalkeepers get too much blame for when goals get past them. They always will. It's just the nature of the position. They know what they sign up for as well, and they know what that job entails. But when you factor in how important Brad has been in all facets of Atlanta United's development, I don't think he's celebrated enough. I'm glad that he will be on Saturday, but that needs to be a long-term thing. We are very, very lucky that Brad Gazan came to Atlanta and has been what he's been for this club, because Atlanta United, soccer in Atlanta, all those things, it's not what it is now if Brad doesn't make the decision to come to Atlanta.
What was your first what's your first memory of interaction with Brad Gazan as a part of the Atlanta United experience from when he was here?
Honestly, I don't know. I just remember that first game. I mean, we weren't traveling on the road at that point in 2017, but he walked right into the starting lineup in a huge game in Orlando, the first time that the teams played, and had a clean sheet, a 1-0 win, late goal from Tito Villalba. And Brad was big in that game. He's made multiple saves during his time with Atlanta that just blow your mind. I think the thing I'll probably remember the most is the playoff run last year, alongside the save on Ebobisse in MLS Cup in 2018. But the playoff run, because he had a run of games that I've never seen firsthand. I've seen great individual performances in a game, but to have that kind of a run of games, I mean, it's up there with the scoring streak that Joseph Martinez had in terms of sustained excellence over a longer period of time. I remember, honestly, in Montreal this year, I was the only member of the media there, and he spoke to me after the game on his way to the bus. I remember talking to him after the injury, and he wasn't able to play in Toronto. And just, he's always thinking, I think the thing that stands out to me the most about Brad is he's a competitor. He's one of the most intense competitors that I've ever seen. I remember Gonzalo Pineda calling him a freak when he came back from injury so quick. Athletically, he's insane. He does not play or look or act like he's 41.
Well, it's like we were talking about earlier. Like John brought it up, which actually made me think. Like, the man came back and had the performances he did after he ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
It's career ending for a lot of people.
It's insane.
To do that was incredible. But I think what stands out to me, and especially thinking back to those conversations after games in Montreal and then just chatting as we were walking to the bus in Toronto, and he wasn't able to play. That was when he got hit in the face. And Jaden played. He's always, of course, been an intense competitor and very personally driven. And you have to think about yourself in these situations. You do. I mean, that's any athlete to get to where somebody like Brad has gotten to. They have a healthy ego, and they should. It's how you get there. But he's always been able to balance that with what's best for the team and the group. And that's really hard to do, and not everybody can. And I think Brad's always done a really good job of leading in every facet of what that means.
How should we, whether we're talking as we go forward here?
In Atlanta, he's the best to ever wear the crest. And I know Joseph is amazing and all the goals that he scored, but Brad, for the amount of time, the coming back from the injury, all the things on and off the field that he's done to lead this group, to me, he's the epitome of what it means to be an Atlanta United player. Mm-hmm. And that's how he should be remembered. In terms of U.S. soccer, I think, it's bad luck in terms of his generation, because there were quite a few really good goalkeepers in that group. And Tim Howard, got the number 1 shirt and never really gave it up. And Tim is, we could sit here and have this conversation about U.S. goalkeepers, and you've got Tim Howard in that mix. You've got Casey Keller in that mix. You've got Brad Friedel in that mix of the best. Tony Meola. Those 4 are probably the 4. That's the Mount Rushmore. Brad is right next to it. And if he had been at a different spot, maybe he gets that number 1 shirt and then doesn't give it up. I don't feel like he got enough opportunities with the national team based off his level of play. But again, you had a generational great in Tim Howard who was there at the same time. So, what can you do? Like I mentioned, Nick Raimondo, I think they're kind of similar. They're very different kinds of goalkeepers, but they were both right there pushing Tim Howard to be as good as he was for the national team. Because if he slipped, either one of them could have been the guy and then not given that shirt back. So I think nationally, with the national team side of it, he is one of the best to ever be produced by this country. No question. Outside of that elite 4, Tony Meola was really before the big U.S. professional era. When he came into MLS, he was towards the later stages of his career, and he still won championships and won MVPs and was an amazing player. Friedel had a great European career. Keller did it for a long period of time. Had both domestic and international success at the club level. And Tim Howard is probably, I think if you look at resume, he's probably that guy, the number 1 guy. Brad was a half step behind him. And maybe just because the timing didn't work out, that he didn't get the opportunity to grab the shirt first. In MLS, Brad is one of the best goalkeepers to ever play in the league. In Atlanta, he's the best. He's the best by far. I don't have the numbers. It's something I was actually wondering if I could even compile. I think Brad has played the most games for an Atlanta professional soccer team. Mm-hmm. I think he's played the most of anybody in city history. Wow. I don't think there was a Chiefs player or Silverbacks player who played more games for the club than Brad has played for Atlanta United.
Yeah, it would have been like a David Byrne, Graham Tutt, Balson discussion.
No, they weren't there that long. That was only 3 years of that Chiefs. The other Chiefs lasted 5, but they didn't have many people who lasted the whole 5. Nobody was with the Silverbacks for this kind of period of time. I mean, that's the thing. It's really easy to forget that Brad has been here playing regularly since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time. And that's just a sliver of his career. I mean, he started for Chivas USA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even exist. El Guzano with Chivas USA. I remember watching Chivas USA in the MLS playoffs at the Brew House in the first decade of the 2000s. And everybody's talking about this young goalkeeper who had hair, by the way, and what he's doing for Chivas USA.
Wild. I will say I was curious to find this photo. So this was before I officially started doing a whole bunch of stuff with you guys. It was 2023. It was my 21st birthday, and Atlanta United had a home game. It was a Wednesday. So it was like already not a lot of people were there because it was a Wednesday evening. People were either coming in late, whatever. And it was hilarious because I was a fan that day, 21st birthday. I have a photo of me in the fan line, and Brad comes up and takes a photo with me on the 21st. Oh, hold on. I'm showing it right now. There it is. That's me and Brad.
Nice.
It's great.
Styling with the suit.
Island. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to have that. I don't know. It's cool being it's weird being a fan and like seeing Brad, I think, in that way, and like those experiences. I also have other photos of like when my parents surprised me with Delta Club seats with my uncle, and I have a photo with him there. Like, I mean, anytime you spoke with Brad, I think as a fan and whatever, he was always so, I think, open to it and always just so kind and always cared about Atlanta. I think you will see it every time. He's one of the last people to walk in and out speaking to fans, talking to fans, and being all over and like going up to every person and having that, and then jumping from being a fan to then media that next year. I'm getting to talk to Brad. I think it's so clear when he speaks about the club and when he speaks to media how he feels. And I think that's such a thing to have, is to have someone who's so passionate, I think, about a club, about a city, about a group. And Brad is that. Brad has been that. And I think anytime I've talked to him, you can clearly see that. And I think that's someone that you want to have, I think, in your squad, no matter who it is, no matter what it is, no matter what they're doing, you want to have that type of person. That's what Brad is. Brad is that person. He's forever going to be our captain. And he is our captain. And he's out there, and he just has represented the badge so well. And he's going to be someone that I know that I'm going to remember throughout the rest of my career doing any of this stuff, in anything that he's done. Being a young journalist coming in and getting really nervous when Brad was doing media for the first time. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to talk to Brad Guzan in media. I'm going to lose my mind. It was pretty cool. And I don't know. It's just something. I said it about Gonzalo. I said it about Rob too. First year coming in, it's kind of scary doing media in that way, and getting to do it with Brad was just easy. He made it easy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where he goes next. And listen, hey, if he ever wants to come on SDH, I said it earlier, he can come on any app with us. We'll have a great time, is what I'm saying.
Add a former player to the mix. Maddie and Jason here as we reflect on Brad Guzan. A little after 9 o'clock this morning, Brad said after 21 years he's hanging them up. And Jason, it was when we get to go into the locker room and ask questions of players and in these kinds of situations, Brad, win or lose, was always going to be available. He was going to tell you what he thought. He was going to be frank and honest about it. And it was always, when we got to talk to Brad, it was an education for those of us asking the questions, but at the same time, Brad made it easy for us to get the information that we were looking for so we could tell those stories of Atlanta United.
Yeah, I think Brad has a really good feel for team dynamics. Goalkeepers see everything in front of them. And I think Brad was one of the guys who was able to, I think, put it into words, not just what he's seeing tactically and what he wanted to see. And he's very good with that too. things that he wanted to see be better, things that he liked. He could break down a game tactically in a press conference. But what I liked was he could do it in a way that anyone could understand. He's just really good at breaking down how things work on a soccer field. And he could do it at a tactical level. He could do it at a personal level. And he's just always been willing to have those conversations and dig into that kind of stuff. I've always enjoyed, a lot of times when we would travel, we'll meet at the charter terminal at off the main terminal at Hartsfield, and Brad would usually be there early, and we'd just be talking about whatever the Falcons were up to, laughing at the Bears. He's from Chicago, so we'd make a few jokes at his expense. We'd be talking about whatever. He was always just really interested in sports and more than anything, I think those dynamics of how a team functions. So like what he does next, I'll be really curious, because I think he'd be a great coach. I think he'd be, obviously a great goalkeeper coach if he wanted to do that, but I think he'd be a great head coach. I think he'd be a great sporting director because of understanding those team dynamics. I think, we've seen him do broadcast. I think he'd kill it at that. But he's going to be able to call a shot here next. And, more than anything, after the career he's had and the places he's been and, the support of his family, and he's talked about that so much, I think take a little bit of time and rest and figure out what you want to do. He'll be able to sample and try and learn whatever he wants to for a period of time. But whatever he jumps into, he's going to be successful, because he's just one of the smartest guys that I've talked to in this game.
Maddie, what else is on your mind when it comes to Brad Gazan? Oh, Jason, we have posited, by the way, after early discussions in the Twitch pitch, that David wanted us to all shave our heads going into the building on Saturday.
I mean, that's easy for me, but
Well, what I had posited and Maddie had agreed to is that we go to the Halloween stores and get the bald caps. And have as many 17s, get all the bald caps from all the Halloween stores, and just go wandering in wearing all of those on Saturday night.
You could do that. That would be cool if the 17s did that.
As an homage.
And I said, as Brad's walking off the bus, there's just a line of people in bald caps on the line waiting as he's walking through, ready to sign the gold spike. He's like, what?
It wouldn't surprise me if the whole team did something like that.
For sure. Absolutely.
Prank on him. That would not shock me at all. I'm sure you guys mentioned it, but he is doing a press conference on Thursday at noon.
Yeah.
And we'll be there for that and have plenty of coverage for you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jason, before we get out of here, we did have some World Cup stuff to get into as well.
Lots of stuff. Yeah, the morning espresso kind of got derailed with Brad's news this morning, but you can check that out for a little bit of a precursor. If you're not getting the newsletter and you want to, go to soccerdownhere.net/connect, and you can sign up for the newsletter edition of the espresso. The podcast edition's out. You've got Sweden firing their coach this morning, which we kind of expected. I mean, they've been terrible. Yes. Sweden's front line, I think, in this past transfer window was worth over $300 million, and they have 1 point in World Cup qualifying right now. Yeesh. So, yeah, Coach Jon Dahl Tomasson, see ya. I don't think the Czechia coach has actually been fired yet, but I don't know if he's been heard from either.
He still might be on the tarmac.
The reports from journalists in Faroe Islands when they lost to the Faroe Islands was that he wasn't allowed in the dressing room, but I don't think he's been officially fired yet either. So I don't know. You've got England playing today. You've got Spain playing today. You've got Portugal playing today. The drama is in Africa and Asia. The biggest drama is probably in Asia with United Arab Emirates at Qatar. A draw is enough for UAE. That would put Qatar into the playoff in November. But if UAE wants to be very mean to their hosts, a win could knock Qatar out entirely, and Oman would go into the playoff in November. So we'll see how ambitious UAE is. The other one, it's Saudi Arabia and Iraq, and Saudi Arabia's got the advantage because of goals scored. So a draw would be enough for them. Iraq is at least going to the playoff, but they got to win to earn their automatic spot. In Africa, you've got the group with Benin, with Nigeria, with South Africa that will provide some chaos. All three have a shot to win the group. None of them have a shot to go into the playoff for November. So it is one of the three going and the others are eliminated. And for South Africa and Nigeria to both be on the cusp of elimination today, that's kind of crazy. The others, Cote d'Ivoire should get through. They need a result. They should be okay. And what's the third one that I'm forgetting off the top? Senegal. They should be okay as well. They should take care of business. So in Europe, we're not going to have many teams that, if any, that are qualified through the October games. It's all going to come down to the last 2 rounds in November. Africa will have the playoffs decided. DR Congo could get into the playoff today if they win. So that's another level of chaos in Africa. We'll know the last 2 qualifiers from Asia. We'll know who the playoff teams are. CONCACAF is another wild one with Curacao, who right now, Iceland is the smallest country to ever be in the World Cup. Cabo Verde is second. Curacao would be the smallest if they can get in. And they are leading their group right now. They play Trinidad and Tobago today. A win would really give them the upper hand in winning that group and earning automatic qualification. Costa Rica did win last night. That was huge for them, so they're still alive. It's going to come down to them and Honduras, and the second place team will probably go into the playoff, the Interconfederation playoff straight away. So all kinds of stuff happening. It's like Super Tuesday on the World Cup side.
No doubt. And so FS2 has qualifying at noon and 2:45. Maddie, I want to catch up with you because we have an international friendly involving the U.S. and Australia at 9 o'clock. Fox Deportes says Mexico and Ecuador. TUDN simulcasting it. Universo simulcasting the friendly, as is Univision. All of the activity in Africa is on the plus.
Hold on. The U.S. men's national team friendly, you can actually listen to that on 92.9 The Game as well, thanks to our friends at Westwood One. Callum Williams on the call on that one. So Callum yelling in all caps, which is always fun.
Yes.
We'll have Atlanta Soccer tonight after that. So probably around 11:30 with kick at 9 and then a little post-game show on Westwood One. I'll probably start at close to 11:30 with your recap of the entire day of chaos.
Yep. Paramount Plus has your CONCACAF, has 4 matches starting at 7, 8, 9, and 10. Peacock is simulcasting at 7 and 10. They're also simulcasting the friendly. CONCACAF W Champions Cup is on the plus. Alajuelense and Chorrillo at 9. Paramount Plus simulcasting that. And Peacock has the Gamebridge Super League at 7 o'clock with DC and Sporting Jacks. So, Maddie, expectations tonight for the second friendly with the USMNT?
Oof. I will say I do love what Chris Richards said. I've been growing. I love Chris Richards. I think he's been absolutely outstanding in the last couple of games for U.S. men's national team. I also love him as a player. I think one thing again, I do love a good defender, and I like Chris Richards. He's just so gritty and he's down with it, and I love his play style. Love what he said as well. I can't say it here because I don't want to get us the explicit rating.
Why not? Jarrett does it all the time.
Blanca friendly.
Blanca friendly, basically. Okay. But no, I think this one will be fun. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like, especially with, lineups and what it's going to look like too. But I really like the performance from the last game as well from them. I thought they played pretty well, and it was a good performance and bouncing back too. It'll be fun. I'm excited for this one. I actually don't know what the score is going to be though. I'm going to go into it blind.
It's a friendly. I mean, there's so many things that you don't know. Pulisic might play, might not play, dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury. I think when you look at this one, for me, I want to see how they build off of what I thought was a good performance against Ecuador. I think people don't always give Ecuador enough respect. That's the second best team in South America, and they actually had a 3-point deduction going into qualifying, and they still finished second. They beat Argentina in the last game, where both were already qualified, but it's a really good Ecuador team. The U.S. was the better team. They need to finish better. They need to create more opportunities, those sorts of things, but they were very good. I want to see Tanner Tessman. I want to see if he can push his way into being a main guy with this team, because right now, and everybody was yelling about Mauricio Pochettino not having his starting 11 and not knowing all this stuff about what his roster is going to be. And everybody was yelling, making a bunch of points. Well, I've heard the same thing from England. I've heard the same thing from Brazil. I've heard the same thing from quite a few different countries around the world. So maybe that was a bit preemptive. I think Chris Richards is a lock you're going to build around. I think Christian Pulisic obviously is a lock you're going to build around. Tyler Adams is a lock you're going to build around, even though he's out right now. Anthony Robinson and Serginho Dest will be, I believe, by the time you get to the World Cup. Beyond that, you've got some open spots for competition. I think goalkeeper's one. I think the 9, although Falarin Balogun's starting to clamp that one down. Tessman has an opportunity here. I think he's got a big one. Aiden Morris, I didn't think was great against Ecuador. He's got an opportunity here to be a starter and a key player in the World Cup next summer. What they do here doesn't purely lock that down, but it changes their spot in the pecking order. So for me, Tessman is the one that I really want to see tonight, and I want to see him do well.
Malik Tillman's also one that I've
Another
really
one, yeah.
do, and I think he's slowly making a case for himself.
If you stay in this shape, you're going to have to decide, I think, between 3 central midfielders, between, you're going to need to decide between 2 because Pulisic would be one. If you stick in the 3-4-2-1, Pulisic's one of your 10s. You've got an open spot there. Adams is one of your 6s. You've got an open spot there. Is it Tessman? Is it Tillman? Is it McKennie? Does Gio Reyna actually find enough K-tape to be able to play? I don't know.
Also Diego Luna too.
Luna is going to factor in, whether it's off the bench or as a starter. Like Johnny Cardoso has got an opportunity to play his way into that. Aiden Morris has got a chance to play his way into that. So many different possibilities of what that looks like. So that's the intrigue around this U.S. men's national team. So you're looking at kind of the individual performances tonight.
And as we are talking, they've started a press conference completely and totally separate from anything. MLS Next Pro has announced the addition of a 7th independent club to the league. The Island FC plans to begin play in 27 in a new stadium in Uniondale, Long Island. 4th MLS Next Pro team in the tri-state, first on Long Island, and that press conference is going on right now.
They are The Island?
The Island FC.
The Island FC, okay.
The Island FC. The Island FC principal owner and chairman Mitchell Reckler and team president Peter Zaritan plan to build a privately funded, fan-friendly stadium at the Mitchell Athletic Complex in Uniondale, Long Island. Zaritan's also the owner of the Long Island Rough Riders, who have teams in League 2 and W League. Designed to seat 2,500 at launch, ability to increase to 5,000. Stadium and entertainment complex, live, work, play. Also serving as a year-round academy training facility, hosting various competitions, sports, and community events. Long Islanders will have a place to gravitate toward, and so that press conference is going on right now. Live as we speak, if you are so inclined, after we go off the air over at MLSNextPro.com. Guys, I think that's a show.
It is.
And we will be back once again tomorrow morning, 9:05. Tyler Pilgrim, Scarves and Spikes, Dylan Butler, the busiest man in the Northeast, and Donovan Ricketts, the head coach of Carolina Core, dropping by at 10:30 to start our coverage of MLS Next Pro in the postseason. And we have Chris Nugent following that up on Thursday at 9:30. So I cannot thank you guys enough for parachuting in on a very, very busy day and an important day when it comes to the history of Atlanta United. Can't thank you guys enough for dropping by. We'll be catching up with you soon, and I know that Thursday will be a very, very busy day for SDH up at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground.
Yep, Thursday with Brad, Friday with Training Ground Dispatch for the last time of the regular season, Saturday with the game. It's going to be a busy, busy weekend. We will be running in many different directions, but that's what we do. We're around the corner from everywhere. It's what SDH does.
Yes, and then there's a beer that might have the same kind of name.
There's that on Sunday, yes.
Yes, so looking forward to that at the Brew House. So for Maddie and Jason, I'm John. It's the end of the show. See you in less than 22 hours. Means we get to do this. Mucho plati, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.